105.9 Academy FM.
Saturday Sport. You're listening to the Sports Ferret on AcademyFM.
Good morning, sport lovers of Folkestone. This is Kevin Daly, the Sports Ferret, bringing you loads of sporting news on Academy FM. Sponsored by the Natural Health Clinic of Castle Hill Avenue in Folkestone. On today's show, with reports on football, hockey, boxing, a bit of basketball, a quick recap of the charity race night we told you about last week, and with two special guests from Folkestone Rugby Club in the studio. We're joined today by club coach Leigh Fitchie and club captain Martin Moose Murray. And they'll be telling us all about what goes on up there at Burlington Fields. OK, we're just going to have a little listen to Mr. Blow. We haven't heard him properly for a little while. I love this song. Back from 1970. This is a retro show. We love the old stuff. Well, I do, because I'm old. OK, we're coming up. We're going to take you back to 1980 with a bit of Blondie. OK, there you go, a bit of Blondie. Can't beat a bit of Blondie on a Saturday morning, 1980. OK, this is Kevin Daly, the Sports Ferret on Academy 105.9. And it's another hour of sporty stuff from Folkestone. And today we're joined by two fellas from the Folkestone Rugby Club. We're joined by Leigh Fitchie and Moose Murray. Morning, guys.
Morning, Ferret. Morning, Ferret.
How are we doing? All right? Yeah, I'm doing very well. It's lovely to see you guys again. And it's good of you to come in, because I know you've got a game this afternoon. And looking by the league tables, it's going to be a bit of a tough one. So we'll talk about that later. But Leigh, let's bring you in first. Let's just tell us a little bit about your background, your sporty background, and your role within the club at the rugby club.
Yeah, my current role at the minute, obviously I'm very fortunate to be head coach of the club. Been connected with the club since playing for them in the under-13s.
So you started at under-13s and you say you've gone through the whole...
Gone through all the age groups up until 17, then obviously went away to play high rugby and got injured, and then got my connections with the club to come back in, and was obviously started playing again. Then obviously became assistant coach for a couple of years under the last coaches, Lee Jeffrey and Darren Malloy.
Right.
Then fortunate enough the club have had confidence in me to obviously put me in the role as head coach.
Good for you. It's a good step up. That's excellent. Now, Moose, tell us about your background with the club. I know you're club captain, is that right?
Yeah, third year as club captain. I joined the club under 12s, sort of played all the way up.
Right. Okay, so that's great as well. So, I mean, have you got many players that are like that? They've started as minis or whatever, and they've stayed with it, and they're now in the first team. Leigh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pretty much, I mean, with bar one or two people that moved to the area, either through the army, they're pretty much 95% of the squad is all Folkestone grown.
That's great.
Which pretty much no other club within the county can actually say that. So, yeah, very, very fortunate that they've stayed with the club.
Right, and Moose, something we were touching on just outside there. I've noticed that there's no overseas players this year. Is that something that you have control of, or your sponsors sort of pay for them to come over?
No, it's not sponsored at all. We purely rely on word of mouth across, especially in New Zealand, and people coming over looking to travel, and we sort of help them find accommodation, help them find jobs, and that's it. And
I've noticed that in the last few years that I've been really seriously following the rugby club, that these overseas players, it's a bit of a culture shock to start with, but they seem to be, I think they probably have something more to prove, do you think, Leigh, than the English players, because they're coming over one short season or whatever, and they get stuck in, and away they go, that they make good links with the club?
Oh, no, fantastic links. I mean, the main links that we've had, obviously, we've had the internationals over from Estonia. We're still connected with those. There's a couple of guys that went over there and met up with them. We've got links, obviously, out to New Zealand, where we've got some guys out there at the moment that have gone out there and come back. Sehan's gone out there and come back, and we've got guys, Will Sylvie and Charlie Millen are out there at the moment, and they've been staying with people and working the areas of the guys that have come over, so the connections are very strong.
That's great. That's great to see. It's fantastic, because I mean, to be fair, living in this part of the world, most of the sporting clubs do have sort of links with France, which is just across the way, which is great to see. I know that your youngsters go over there, but to think you've got links with Estonia and countries like that, it's a pretty awesome connection. Okay, that's enough chatting for a little while. We've got loads to get through, and I haven't even touched on the other sport yet. But it's time for a bit of music, and we're going to move on now to 1981 and a bit of Depeche Mode. Just can't get enough. Depeche Mode, 1981. That went down well with the Rugby lads. We've been looking through the playlist, and hopefully we can find one or two songs that they're going to enjoy. Okay, now then, it's back to the nitty-gritty of the Sports Ferret show on 105.9. So a little recap on last week's guests. Now, last week, if you remember, we had Craig Smith and Martin Chandler came in. They're running the London Marathon for Evelina Children's Hospital. Now, we don't normally do London Marathon stuff this early, but they were holding a charity race last week up at the Royal Cheriton there. And it was a race night, a charity race night, and we got them to describe what a race night was, so anyone that had never been to a race night knew exactly what we were talking about. Me and Mrs. Ferret popped in. We had a quick drink up there, but we had another engagement, so to speak, but it was packed. It was brilliant. Now, I spoke to Martin during the week, and I've got to tell you this, that they raised £1,267 on that race night last Saturday, which was a fantastic amount. Now, this is amazing, because they've set themselves a £5,000 target, and they've already raised nearly £4,000. So if that was me, I'm thinking, oh, that's really good. I might not have to run the London Marathon after all. Now, come on, fellas. Okay, now also last week on the show we had the guys from the basketball club, the Saints. We had Mark Hinton came in with Deepak from the Nepalese community, and even as we speak, it's 10 o'clock now. They're holding some exhibition matches up at the Three Hills, which started at 10, but there is still time for you to get up there. There's 3 games going on. There's a game for the age group of 16 years plus the men's, that's one age group. Then there's the men's veterans, and then there's a ladies' game. So what they're after doing is raising awareness of basketball in the community, because they're trying to get a new basketball court set up there on Cheriton Rec. So straight after the show, I'll be whizzing up there to see if I can catch the oldies, the men's vets that were in here last week, and get a few pictures of them for the Facebook page. Right, it's time for a bit of football. Now, this won't go down well with the rugby club guys here, I'm sure. I'm getting some bad looks already. But it is a popular game, fellas. Come on. So we're going to whiz through some football. We start with Folkestone Invicta. Last week they drew 1-1 with Carl Shorten. Scott Hurd being the hero and the villain. He scored the only goal, but was sent off late in the game for a second bookable offence. Now, Neil Cugley seemed to think they were lucky to come away with a draw, and he rated Carl Shorten as one of the best sides in the league. During the week, they beat Chatham 1-0, Ian Draycott scoring the only goal, and today it's up to Tooting and Mitcham. Now, they're currently 18th in the table out of 24. Tuesday evening, it's back on the coach once more for the 4th away game in a row when they visit Molesey. So the next home game is next Saturday against Three Bridges. Hive Town now. Meanwhile, they continue their good form, beating Sittingbourne 2-0. Goals coming from Frankie Sawyer and Alfie May. And today they'll have their work cut out when they welcome 5th place Faversham to Reachfields. Tuesday evening they play at Reachfields once more against South Park, making it 3 home games on the bounce. Next Saturday it's away to Chipstead, but here's the big one. Come on, fellas, put this in the diary. It's Hythe versus Folkestone. It's not Boxing Day this year, it's Sunday the 27th. It's 3 o'clock. Both teams are really on fire. They're both performing really well, and that's going to be a cracking fixture. Now, Hawkinge Town, well, their game last week against Lydd was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. So today they face Stansfield in the Premier Division in the Kent Intermediate Shield, remembering that the Hawks are 1 division below. So good luck to them in the Cup. They seem to do quite well in the Cup this year. They're doing really, really well. Under 18s news now. Stano and Batesy's Invicta under 18s beat Margate 5-0. The goals coming from Tommy Nagy got 1, Cameron Griffiths got 1, but I hope I've got this right. Ewan Sahado, he scored a hat-trick, so well done to you, Ewan. Tomorrow is away to Sittingbourne. Currently, the Invicta lads are top of the league. They've played 6, they've won 5, they've drawn 1, and they haven't been beaten. Now, a bit of Folkestone disability news. Last week's game against Carlshawn was postponed, so today they try again. This is a great fixture, this one. I don't know where Garrett gets his fixtures from, but they're playing against a QPR disability team in an 8-a-side match at a sports centre at Wembley. So good luck to you guys. Let us know how you got on during the week. A bit of ladies football now. Well done to the ladies under 18s down at Folkestone in Victor. They played top of the table Ashford and they whooped them 6-1. Goals coming from Paige Godden, she got a hat-trick. Charlotte Avery got 1, Erin McLennan got 2, and Katie Cooper was voted player of the match by the opposition. So thanks to Sharon Cooper for that result. And this is a great report. On a very windy day, Hive under 18s were blown away by Chatham. Sadly, they lost 3-0, but they got a chance to get back to winning ways tomorrow when they play Whitstable down there at South Road. So thanks to Ian Griggs for that report. Okay, that's enough a bit of football, and then we're going to play a bit of music, and then we're going to talk rugby. Let's see, what have we got coming up now? This is great, a bit of Roxy music from 1980. There you go, that was your first test of the day. Did you notice that? There was a big Ferret fail. That wasn't Roxy music at all. I was looking a bit further down the playlist. We've got some Roxy music coming up, but we don't care. We're always worth one error on a Saturday morning, sometimes two. Okay, but we're going to talk rugby. We're joined here today by Leigh Fitchie, the club coach, and Moose Murray, the club captain. And so we're now going to start getting into what goes on up there at Burlington Fields. So Leigh, let's bring you in there. So tell us a little bit about the background, how many teams you've got, sort of how long's the club been going, just anything about the club.
Well, the club's been going, I believe it's founded in 1974. Obviously, they had to change the position of the club with the Eurotunnel coming in, so that's obviously the location that they have now, Burlington Fields. Rugby-wise, it's anything from under 7s right up till obviously senior level, when you can play for as long as you feel fit. We have some guys playing, they're absolutely incredible. One of the guys called Chops, he's actually in his late 50s, and he is unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know how he does it, and right. But they play week in, week out in their mid-50s, and I know.
Is he a member of the Fossils? Is that what you call him?
No, he plays third team.
Oh, does he?
Sometimes he has stepped up for the twos. He just loves his rugby, and he's said he's never felt as fit as he's. So you wouldn't think when you watch him.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, the recovery rate. I mean, do you fellas, have you found it, Moose, as perhaps as you come out of the minis or whatever, and that your recovery rate it takes a bit longer?
Yeah, it definitely takes a few days to get over the knocks.
Yeah. Okay. Right, so what I'm interested in, and the point you made, Leigh, is that I'm always curious how it feels for a second teamer stepping up to the first team. You know, a bit daunting. You know, been playing well with perhaps a good side, it might come up to the first, perhaps not doing so well, but they need an injection of new blood. I mean, how do the seconds step up to the firsts?
This year in particular, absolutely exceptionally. One of the things we've really pushed is having senior training. It's not one's training, two's training, three's, it's everybody. So an age for myself is just a number. If someone's competing with the first team in contact sessions and games that we play away from obviously match days and pre-season in particular, you get to see what they're made of, and if they're good enough, you give them a go, and they've done themselves proud when they played. Okay, so Moose, for you as a club captain, you perhaps turn up and you've got some injuries for the regulars, and selections force like 2 or 3 of the second 15 into the side. So basically, you're not really worried then?
No, not at all. No. I mean, we train together Tuesday and Thursday nights. There's been plenty of lads that have come in this season, have had a really good game, and they've kept their shirt for the next week. So
that's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's good, because I mean, I've played at various football clubs, and it's always been like the first team training in the one corner, and the second team training in the other corner, and we might have a game at the end of the match, the end of the session, but it's nice to know that you all train together and you're all put under the same sort of stress on a training day. Now, So what I'd like to know, Leigh, is when they're minis, okay, the rules obviously are different, the pitches are smaller, and there's no contact. Is it just a touch rugby they play? Yeah, it's touch rugby. They have effectively 2 bands on the side of their bodies, and when they go past, obviously they have to be taken off them, and then they just offload the ball. It's just, it's non-contact, just so they can enjoy it and get into running rugby. Okay, and as they get older, the pitches get bigger and they start kicking? Yeah, everything gets a little bit bigger. They get bigger, the pitches get bigger, obviously the balls get bigger, and then they go, as you go on, obviously you go up to, I think it's 14 now,
that the line obviously start kicking. Full contact starts coming in from about 12. And yeah, when you watch them play, they have no fear. I always say to the coach, you just let them get onto it, and they just love it. Right. Absolutely love it.
And what about the parents? Are they, they get really enthusiastic behind their kids?
Yeah, absolutely enthusiastic.
You have to rein them in a bit.
You do have to rein them in.
Say, look, I'm the coach. Sit down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can get a little bit carried away at times, so I've had to learn a lesson, which Moose will probably he's looking at me now. He knows sometimes when I say to the guys, don't talk to the ref, and I've done the same myself, which I've had to obviously pat myself on the back just to say, just don't do it myself. So yeah, but if you have a passion for a game, it's just a learning curve for parents and coaches and players to just put your energies in the right direction, and so everybody's on the same page and just enjoying it.
Excellent. Now you've both played first team rugby. Moose, you're still playing. Now the discipline that we've just seen the World Cup, and the discipline of these massive blokes. I don't know, the referee's probably not small, but compared to the rest of the side, but they respect him so much. Is that the same throughout the whole game?
That's throughout, yeah, completely. That's bred from under sevens up.
And I think that football could certainly learn, and I'm sure you guys do as well, when you see the silly little videos of people getting a little slap and they go rolling around on the ground. But yeah, that is so noticeable, and the size of the let's say the Premiership players or the international players is massive. I know they're more on a full-time basis than you guys, but the fitness levels are just fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah, they're phenomenal, really.
I remember, some years ago, Lawrence Dallaglio, he did a big cycling event, and he ended up, I don't know if you guys were there, he did a presentation at the rugby club. They cycled from all the main capitals of the rugby world, and I was on the media team there, and I interviewed him, and I was looking at him and looking up at him, and he is 6'4", and he's built like a brick thingamajig, but I saw a picture of him shaking hands with Martin Johnson at the end of a game, of a club game, and he's looking up at Martin Johnson. So you can imagine Martin Johnson beaming down at you. I mean, do you get fellas that big on your level?
Not generally that big.
No.
I've met both them guys, and they are huge.
They're massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, how could you stop them guys running unless you're the same sort of size? Yeah. So, Moose, tell us what positions you play and what's your role as a club captain. The guys, you're getting beat 20-0. What is you've got to do now to wind them up?
Oh, we don't get beat 20-0.
As it happens, I've got the records going back 30 years here. No, come on, you guys are perhaps, they're not playing. They know they're not playing well. Their chin might be a little bit on the floor. It's your job. What do you have to do to them?
Yeah, I think we're lucky within the club that we've all grown up throughout the club. We've known each other a long time, and it comes down to pride, really. You're playing for your town, you're playing for your club. So, and obviously we're playing for the coaches. It's just reiterating what we've learned at training, what we've been doing all week, and then putting that into practice.
So they all know that they got to dig it. They don't really need you to tell them.
I mean, you don't need to be
to be reminded, I suppose.
Yeah, I think with rugby, the weather plays a massive part of the game. So if you're 20-0 down and the winds, you're running into the winds. You don't have to be too worried. You just got to believe in yourself and put it into practice.
Okay. Now, was that the same for you, Leigh, when you were playing? I mean, now you're a coach. What was your attitude on the pitch? Was it just like get stuck in, team game?
Yeah, absolutely. The final score is only the score at the end of the game that counts. And games at any sport, momentum is massive. And with rugby, obviously in particular, 20-0 sort of equate, that sounds a big score, it equates to 2-0. And if you get that next goal, you get that next try, 7, all of a sudden you get a bit of momentum, you get another quick score.
A little spring in your step.
All of a sudden the opposition's a little bit nervous, you've got all the momentum, and the game can switch so quickly that, it's the only thing that is the score at the end of the game. And that's all that matters. Okay, we're going to play a bit of music now, and hopefully if I press the right button this time, this is one that Moose has asked for, and it's a bit of Stone Roses. There you go, a bit of Stone Roses, Fool's Gold. Do you know, that's a nice gentle one. I didn't quite
know what to expect. We have one Stone Roses track on the system, and so we played it, and it's quite a gentle. I was quite surprised. Good choice, Moose. Okay, a bit of boxing news now. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, Folkestone Boxing Club had their annual tournament up at the Leigh Cliff Hall, and we spoke to you about a young boxer called Connor Quigley. Now, he's only joined the boxing club, he's only been a member for 7 months, and he made his debut and he won his fight. Now, speaking to Barry Pluck several times about getting, how long does it take before someone goes into the ring? The boxing club would not put anybody into the ring if they didn't think they were ready. Anyone that goes up the boxing club and expects to go in the ring the first night, forget it. It's all about training, and obviously they saw a little bit of sparkle in Connor, and he had his fight and he won. So the thing is, he was actually been picked up already. He's been picked up and he's been asked to go out to Gibraltar, and he's been asked to represent a London select team. Now, an opponent was needed for the fight on the bill in Gibraltar. Because he made such an impression, they must have a kind of a circulation list of boxers that are available. They needed somebody in kind of the same age, the same weight category, and his name was put forward. And this Thursday, he's flying off to Gibraltar. So there you go. Well, that's a great little sporty story. And sometimes that's just a little rung up the ladder that you need in any sport. And that you can just put in a fantastic performance, and someone might think, this lad's got a bit of talent. So good luck to you, Connor, and Barry will be keeping in touch with us how Connor gets on. Now, another little boxing story. This is more of a boxing charity story. Well done to Tom Carr. Tom stepped into the ring in a charity bout as a last-minute replacement for his long-time friend Tom Pope. Now, Tom got injured in training. He damaged some ribs. Now, Tom won his fight a couple of nights ago in 3 rounds, but basically it was all about raising money for multiple sclerosis. Now, Tom Pope is on a kind of a mission, really. He's got set himself a target of £10,000 raising money for Multiple Sclerosis UK in memory of his mother, who passed away. And Jane, me and Mrs. Ferret knew Jane for a very, very long time. But now Tom's on a real mission, and one of his targets is the Marathon des Sables, which is like 3 marathons in the Sahara Desert in 5 days or something like that. So well done to you, Tom. Now, a bit nearer the time, we're going to get Tom in and have a chat about going to Africa and running 3 marathons in the Sahara Desert. Now, I just want to say good morning to all the staff at Eurotunnel. Hope you're working away there, and hope you've all got Christmas off. The Christmas leave rosters have gone up. So I want to say good morning to the Chockers, the Agent 5s, the Agent 6s, the staff in MC4, MC5, the PSCs and the dispatchers. And that's a Eurotunnel code, so no one else knows what I'm talking about. And I want to say good morning especially to Irish Colin. Irish Colin sometimes brings his guitar in, and I'm going to go through the playlist and see if I can find a suitable song. Now, even if you're not particularly sporty, there's some things coming up that you might like to join in. We've got the Santa Run coming up. That's on Sunday, December the 13th. Registration from 10 o'clock. The race starts at 11:30. So that's down at Bouvier Road Shopping Centre. So get along there. That's Sunday, December the 13th. That's run by the Folkestone Channel Rotary Club. We got a Boxing Day fun run. It's in its 41st year. That is Boxing Day midday, 3 miles of mud and hills, and a great cure for a hangover. So make your way to Saltwood Village Hall and get there early and get registered. And if you want to know anything more about that, go to nicework.org. And these guys up there at Saltwood Boxing Day, and they'll be raising money for motor neurone disease and for other local charities as well. And I'll be up there on the microphone, staying nice and clean, I hope, while you muddy lot come charging past me. And of course, if you really, really want to get wet and just freezing cold, then go down to the sunny sands. We've got the Boxing Day Dip. It's organised by the Folkestone Lions. Registration from 11:45 on the sunny sands at the Ship Inn. It's a fancy dress judging at 1:15, and then the dip starts at 1:30. Now, as far as I know, there's not a registration fee, but you get a sponsorship form, and you just raise money for your local charity. So I want to say happy birthday to James Durkin. in, and to Tim Warren. Tim and Angie are coming in next week. They're from the Folkestone Running Club. And the following week, we've got Tim Wiseman and Claire. Tim is head coach at the Hive Aqua Swimming Club, and his wife Claire is the secretary for the running section of the Deal Tri Club. So we've got some real couple of sporty weekends, and that'll make the hit list of 2015 for the Ferret over and done with. So there's been a great sort of 6 months that I've been on air now. Guess penciled in, we're going to get some guys in from the Shetway Sports Trust, and hopefully we're going to get Zumba. We're going to talk Zumba in January with Stacey Etherington. Okay, time for a bit of music now. So it's, this is a great track. 1979, a bit of Police. There we go, that's the Police from 1979. We're chatting off air now, getting carried away. There is so much to get through when these guys come in. And it's such interesting to talk to any club members, especially the people like the Rugby Club, where there is so much going on, so many people involved, so many teams run. And Leigh, let's start with you now. Now, it's a massive club. You've got 4 senior teams, 5 junior teams, 6 mini teams, times 15. That must be about 300 kids, is it? I don't know. It's a good job they don't.
And more, and more. If you came up on a Sunday and saw how many kids are there,
right.
Coaches, obviously all family members watching games or training, it's unbelievable.
Okay, so now it's your little soapbox time to just run through some of the guys that are important up the club and some of the thank yous you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, like we just mentioned, there's not really enough time to mention everybody because you have to thank everybody because we are a community.
Don't leave anybody out. Yes.
You just can't, because everybody is literally as important as each other because, it's a community club and everybody helps everybody. I had to pick out a few, so my focus ones, because unfortunately she's retiring this year, Jill Scott, our bar manager, club manager.
Yep.
She was there when I was a junior, so I've grown up with her. Obviously the current players, they've grown up with her. We can't say thank you enough for the work that she does. She's there literally 24/7 for the club, in and out the club. Another gentleman, if you watch the British Lions or anything, they have a kit man called Ruller that everybody loves. Well, we have the man that taught Ruller everything he knows, and that's Don Turner. Another man, he's our kit man, but he does so much stuff behind the scenes that the people just don't realise, and coaches juniors on a Sunday. He is an integral part of the club. And the other one, I know he's sitting opposite me, is my captain. Okay, some people will go, oh yeah,
checks in the postman.
Yeah, exactly that handshake. Yeah, the cash has just gone straight in my pocket. But it's another one that just shows everything about the club. Some people away from the club or even within just think it's a first team captain, takes care, but all the stuff behind the scenes he does, obviously he has to put up with me. But he helps organise the tours, events. Obviously he's safety secretary of the club, so he's really an integral part of the club and does so much stuff, which is what everybody does. It's not just a single role that someone does. Everybody helps everybody out.
That's brilliant. So you're all helping each other. Now, Moose, it's your turn. It's your turn to thank Leigh. No, tell us who your kind of role models or thank yous that you want to do.
Well, I think the biggest thank you of all has to go out to all of the coaches. We touched on it earlier, how a lot of the first team players have all come through the mini section and the youth section of the club, and all of the coaches who spend all their time up there on a Sunday morning putting the hard hours in, make it a lot easier for us moving forward as a club. You got to look at Mark Edwards and his exec team. Do a fantastic job up there keeping the place running. A special thanks to Alex Ruddock, because this man, I don't know how many hours a week he puts into the club, but it's phenomenal. Yeah, and of course Leigh. So the check swapping that the other way now. Okay, now you've got a game today. You've got a game, Leigh. Tell us about. Sorry, we're just looking at the doors just open and there's someone that had a late night has just come in. Morning, Jordan.
It was more of an early morning. I don't know if he's actually gone to bed. I watched him walk off into the distance this morning, but
I think has he been to bed? Look at the state of him.
No, I don't.
Anyway, he's been walking around trying to find out where the studio is. He's found it. Now, where was I? I don't know where I was then.
Pulborough today.
Oh, that's right. The fixture. Yeah. Thanks. He's got the script there.
Yeah.
Okay, Pulborough today. Now, I printed off the league tables, the first 5 teams in the league. Pulborough are sitting 4th, you're sitting 5th. Your records are almost identical. You've played the same amount of games. There's lots of figures in between, but basically at the end, you've got the same amount of points. So, I mean, what are you expecting from today's game?
a win, as simple as that. No, the guys, obviously, they've done a remarkable job. It's not just, obviously, going forward in the last game. We were sitting down in 9th, and week in, week out, I can't praise the guys enough. That they've literally been playing teams one above them every time. And obviously, if you're playing the team above you and you beat them, then obviously we've been creeping up the table, and they've put themselves into position just by pure hard work. And again, they got an opportunity today to obviously put themselves in another position up the league.
Great. Now, Moose, you've been away. You've been away for a week, I hear.
Yeah, I had a little week off.
A little week off. Is he fit enough, Coach? Do you think you're going to put him?
Always fit enough. Always fit enough.
Oh, yeah. I think you should rest him. He's looking a bit jaded. So you're up for this today, then, Moose? Paul?
Yeah, definitely be a tough fixture. We narrowly lost down there last year, but our discipline this year has been phenomenal in the last few games. So. That makes a massive difference. Okay, now Leigh, on a more serious note, now just want to say that you've got a little moment of sadness before the game. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, unfortunately, one of our founding members and the first team club captain, Andrew Hickmott, passed away last Saturday. He's, as with all, like we were going on earlier, to actually have your first founding captain still, and he was at the club watching our game the week before, actually involved with the club over 40 years later. Just sums up everything to do with the club, that once you're a stone, you're a stone. Yeah. As we obviously said earlier in the game, earlier in the programme, we've got guys that play for Folkestone, they're still involved with the club other side of the world. Obviously it sums up everything about the club, that your very first captain 40 years later is still watching the first team play. So it's a sad moment, and obviously all our thoughts go out to his family, and we'd be thinking of his memory just before the game.
Very well said there, and it's nice that you should honour these guys that have given you so much service, and they're not forgotten. Okay, well, I think we want to wish you good luck for today, but the show's not over yet. We've got another 10 minutes or so, but I think we're going to try and cram in a bit more music. I don't know, if we hit the button this time with a bit of luck, we'll have a bit of Roxy music.
The Saturday Sports Show, brought to you by the Natural Health Centre in Folkestone. When it comes to your health, make the right choice.
105.9 Academy FM.
105.9 Academy FM.
Saturday Sport. You're listening to the Sports Ferret on Academy FM.
Academy FM.
Go a bit of Roxy music, 1980. Playing some chilled out music this morning, it's really nice. Okay, but it's back to rugby. We got just a few minutes left. So you've got a tough game today, fellas, but just tell us about, on a bigger picture, some of the stuff that's coming up on the rugby side. You got some tournaments coming up?
Well, the main tournament, obviously the Spitfire tournament that we used to be in August, that we've changed it to 10s. So that's coming up in May, and with obviously the reigning champions. The debut tournament on our home ground against the old rival Ashford in the final was always good. So yeah, reigning champions for the Spitfire tournament in May.
So Moose, if you had to pick a side that, you know, like if you like Folkestone Football Club, big rivals against Hythe, who are your local rivals? Is it literally Ashford?
Yeah, Ashford are probably the biggest ones. Dover have been out of our league now for a few years, so yeah. But we've got some further away as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
We've got a big rivalry with Horsham, who went up last season. Yeah.
A friendly rivalry, or is it like a serious?
It's all friendly.
Yeah.
It's all friendly.
Yes, very friendly.
Well, in the bar it is, but once you're on the pitch, we forget it. Okay, so I mean, do you get on tour abroad, or, you know, I know a lot of clubs, as we said before, got links with France along here. Do you get abroad anywhere, or do you go to other clubs in Wales or anything?
We've got a link with a side in Uden in Holland, South Holland.
Oh, right.
So we went there the summer before last, and we're hopefully getting out there again this year.
I remember a little story, actually, that you guys went to Holland, and this is a story that was told to me, that you said, yeah, we got a ladies team, and this Holland guy says, yeah, we have a ladies team as well. So the fellas arranged for the Dutch-Holland team to come over and play the English ladies. Now, I saw the game of the English ladies against the Dutch ladies. We found out afterwards they were like the second best team in Holland. Folkestone got a right whooping. The ladies weren't very impressed. But, that's great that you've got these links. So Leigh, last word from you, I think. This season, you're going for promotion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We touched on it earlier. I think, obviously, you have to be realistic with the goals that you set out for the squad that you have and the team. But I think the fact that we do have a squad that we've been pushing, they haven't really fully reached their full potential. But to say you're not going for promotion is mean that you're willing to lose a game, which is certainly not my mentality. And I know the mentality of the guys. They go out, the way they train is they want to win, and I hope that obviously everything falls in their favour and they obviously reach their goals and they can actually reach what their talent deserves.
Okay, excellent. Well, fellas, thanks for coming in. As I said to you at the start, it's gone so quick. There's so much we can talk about. Moose, I'd like to see you lifting a trophy at the end of the year. Think that's possible?
Yeah, definitely so.
Good.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to try and get along this afternoon and see you put some more points on the scoreboard. But we've got to wrap it up now. It's nearly time to go. And bring on Jordan, who's looking a bit worse for wear. Good job this is radio and not TV. You can't see what he looks like. We're going to end up saying goodbye, and we'll see you next week with a bit of Ace of Base.
105.9 Academy FM.
Folkestone's radio station.